The mansion's marble floors gleamed under the morning sun, but in the kitchen, Anna's hands trembled as she scrubbed the counters. Her heart wasn't racing because of the workload, though it was heavy, but because of the tiny bundle wrapped in a worn-out blanket resting quietly in a corner of the kitchen. It was her daughter, little Marisol. No one was supposed to know she was there. Anna had broken the rules. She had no choice. Anna had worked for the wealthy DeVoe family for nearly a year. They lived in a sprawling estate that seemed like a castle filled with chandeliers, golden frames, and silence that echoed through its grand halls. The family patriarch, Adrian DeVoe, was a self-made millionaire known in the city for his ruthless business sense and cold demeanor. To him, time was money and emotions were distractions. He was the last person Anna wanted to discover her secret. But that morning, with no neighbor to help and no money to pay for a babysitter, Anna couldn't leave Marisol alone in her tiny apartment. So she carried her daughter swaddled close to her chest and whispered promises that they'd get through the day unnoticed. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of humanity, even in the harshest of places, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps us spread these powerful stories that can touch hearts around the world. As Anna worked, she prayed that her baby wouldn't cry. But fate often tests us in the cruelest moments. Just as Anna was polishing the silverware, she heard a soft coo, followed by the sweetest giggle. Her heart stopped. She turned and saw little Marisol sitting up playing with her hands, her chubby cheeks glowing in the sunlight. Anna rushed to hush her, but before she could scoop her up, footsteps echoed down the marble hallway. It was Adrian. He entered the kitchen sharply dressed in a navy suit, holding a tablet in one hand and adjusting his watch with the other. His eyes immediately fell on the child and his brows knit together in confusion. Anna froze, her lips trembling as she tried to explain. She expected anger. She expected to be fired on the spot, but Adrian didn't say a word at first. Instead, he crouched down slowly, his expensive suit brushing the tiled floor, and looked into Marisol's eyes. The baby giggled again and reached out her tiny hand. Anna's breath hitched. She was ready for Adrian to call security or demand that she leave, but instead he extended his finger gently, letting the baby curl her little hand around it. For the first time in years, a smile broke across his face. It was small, hesitant, but it was real. From that moment, something shifted. Over the next weeks, Adrian began to notice the way Anna worked tirelessly, never resting, often skipping meals just to finish her tasks. He also noticed how Marisol's eyes lit up every time her mother sang softly to her while working. Slowly, Adrian began to join them, bringing toys, small snacks, even taking short breaks from his packed schedule to sit on the floor with Marisol. The mansion, once cold and silent, now echoed with laughter and tiny footsteps. The staff whispered in amazement, unable to believe that the stern millionaire was softening. Anna, however, struggled with shame. She hated that her poverty forced her to bring her daughter into her workplace. She feared that Adrian's kindness was temporary and that one wrong step would shatter the fragile trust forming between them. Yet, she couldn't deny the relief she felt seeing her daughter safe, loved, and happy in a place that once felt hostile. One afternoon, as golden light spilled into the mansion, Adrian found himself watching Anna feed Marisol bits of bread in the garden. Her hair was messy, her apron stained, but her eyes held a fierce, unbreakable love. Something stirred inside him, something he hadn't felt since losing his own wife and unborn child years ago. He had buried that grief under layers of business, wealth, and coldness. But here, in the presence of a humble maid and her child, his heart was opening again. Adrian began to ask questions, not about chores, but about Anna's life. He learned that she had lost her husband in an accident when Marisol was just a newborn, that she had no family left to lean on, and that every day was a battle to survive. She spoke not with bitterness, but with quiet strength. She worked not for herself, but for the tiny life who depended on her. And in her resilience, Adrian saw a reflection of his own pain and his own redemption. The true turning point came one morning when Anna didn't show up for work. Hours passed and finally a neighbor rushed to inform Adrian that Anna had fainted from exhaustion on her way to the mansion. Without hesitation, Adrian ordered his driver to take him to the small clinic where she lay weak and pale with Marisol asleep at her side. Seeing Anna in that state broke something in him. He realized that no one should work themselves to collapse just to survive, that no child should grow up in the shadows of poverty when there was enough abundance in the world to share. He decided then and there to change her life. The next day, When Anna returned hesitantly, fearing she would lose her job, Adrian gathered the entire household staff. With Marisol perched on his arm, he made an announcement that left everyone in shock. He declared that Anna would no longer serve as just an employee. She would be given a permanent home within the estate, full financial support for Marisol's education, and the freedom to work only when and how she wished. She would never again have to choose between survival and her child. Tears spilled down Anna's cheeks as she tried to thank him, but words failed her. For the first time, she felt seen not as a maid, not as a burden, but as a human being deserving of dignity. And as she hugged Marisol close, the baby reached out her hand toward Adrian as if blessing him for his kindness. From that day forward, the mansion was never the same. It wasn't just a house of wealth. It became a home filled with laughter, second chances, and the reminder that sometimes the most powerful change comes not from money, but from compassion. Adrian, the man once known for his ruthless heart, was now remembered for something far greater, his kindness. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Every interaction helps us continue sharing stories that remind the world of the power of love and humanity. And before we end, we have a special request. Tell us in the comments, what does kindness mean to you?